K&A Custom Crafts on Facebook.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Bo and Joe Show. It's Wednesday night. I'm here with my co-host, Bodine Sanders, and our special commentator, George. Hey, guys. How's it going?
Howdy.
Joe, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you guys doing? It's been a great week, really. We had Damar Hamlin as a huge story, and we're really happy about that. Some great games. I don't know, Bodine, but I did think I came through in some of the upsets where I stood out in the crowd.
You had, I'm trying to get the camera back on because I had to blow my nose and I didn't want to do that as I did last time on camera. You had a great week, Joe.
I know.
You had a great week. So, yeah. But guess what? But the problem is we all had a great week.
Well, I'm glad. I like when we all have a great week. And I think the other big news of the week is that they didn't, which I had a sneaking suspicion would happen. They decided not to play the Bengals-Bills game, which George was adamant that they would. And I thought that human interest would keep them there, and it did. So.
But there's a big problem. A very big problem. They've got a lot of Cincinnati staff that are not real thrilled with the quote-unquote resolution of how they're going to do things versus what the rules were written for with the winning percentages. So if the top three do end up still winning this weekend, boy, there are going to be a lot of upset internal staff, even more furious. And basically, at the rate the games look, it looks like that's the way it's going to be. And it's just going to be a very ugly situation. And you have to sit there and go, neutral site.
Well, you know what? You're going to have to get over it. Life happens. Things move on. Things upset. We do things. Our bosses do things every day that we don't like. And that's just reality, right? Something catastrophic happened and the league had to respond in some way. And regardless of the resolution, someone was going to be unhappy. That's just the nature.
Well, it does hurt. You guys got to remember, this hurts the local economy when the playoff games do happen like that, because everybody around those stadiums, they lose out on money. I mean, from wait staff to the bartenders, I mean, they may still have a lot of the bars packed, but as far as everywhere in the immediate vicinity of the stadiums, you will not get all those people because people will not make that drive down because they usually hit those spots before they actually go to the game. So probably about 35% of their business is not going to turn around and show up when those things do happen.
I'm not saying.
Like you said, I mean, life happens, and this is something totally new. This has never happened before, and they're trying to come up with a fair resolution for everybody.
And it would never be fair to everybody, right?
No.
I mean, life just isn't fair. I mean, that's unfortunate, and it's sad for the people who will. The economy, I agree, the economy is going to suffer, but somebody else's economy is going to flourish, right? I mean, it's just the nature of the game. So it's sad, and I don't know the best way to handle it, but I had a feeling that they were going to want that cushion week, right? Whomever's in the Super Bowl and and the same thing with the Pro Bowl. When I was thinking about it, and I think that it was probably driven in part because of the sponsorship, right? I mean, there were already ads sold. I mean, it's really the NFL at the end of the day is a business, and it's about money, and the networks are very influential, and I'm sure that played a big role. I'd like to say it was all about human interest and Damar Hamlin, but the reality is it wasn't. I'm sure it was driven by economics, and the networks have a lot more power than the local pub, right? So
Put it this way: the first half of it was about the player, Once they realized the player was going to pull through, then they go back to doing business. It's just that simple, right? So
Right.
it's a win-win in a lot of cases, but it's a bittersweet and bitter for some folks. It can't be 100% win when something like this happens. So it's part of, hopefully folks will have a insurance policy, just like they have flood insurance policies. They have Lloyd's of London policies. So hopefully some folks can find a way to recover. Again, it's unfortunate, but we got to keep it moving. We can't be prisoners of the moment. We got to keep it moving because there are games to be played, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
So I want to forewarn the listeners and Bo and George. We're going to wrap things up early tonight around 9:50. We have a big event, a live streaming event for the signing of. We are the main correspondent for the Oregon's football team, the Cougars, and the Women's Football Association, and their signing is tonight. So we're happy to be live streaming that event. So we want to put a shout out. So if anybody wants to stick around, they're an amazing group of ladies. They're actually going to be featured. Some of their games, when they're not live streamed by Coast to Coast, they're going to be on ESPN2. So we're lucky to be in their company, and we appreciate that. So I just
awesome.
Awesome.
And that is
and
awesome.
You will be happy to know I actually watched the college football this week. It wasn't much of a game, but I did watch it, and So what do you think?
Hold on. The first time she seriously sits down to watch college football, she watches a blowout. It didn't teach you much, did it?
No, and it wasn't very entertaining. You know how I roll. I felt sorry for the other team. I was thinking stop scoring, but that didn't happen.
Yeah, it didn't go the way it should have. I mean, obviously, I was rooting for Georgia. I got my pick in. I was rooting for Georgia, but I hope TCU would have showed up. But they didn't show up at all. Matter of fact, you and I, Joe, picked Georgia, and G and Chris picked TCU.
Apparently, TCU didn't want to take notes from the Ohio State game. So they're right. You don't want to take notes. That's not our problem.
Yeah. They got bulldozed. I mean, it was ugly.
It was ugly, for sure. That was probably, I'm glad we won, of course, but that was, a bittersweet win. I really, especially for college players, I hate to see that. And the national championship, it wasn't just any game. That was unfortunate. But anyway, big shout out to Georgia. They did well, obviously, and I'm sure the game was entertaining for them.
Well, that's two national championships in a row coming from the SEC, which is also good. And so we shall, I think they're favorites to win already for next year, but I don't get involved in fantasy and betting and stuff like that. But
they're losing 23 or 24 people to the NFL draft.
Oh, absolutely.
So,
but they're just reload.
They're actually losing a lot of the core. They had a lot of it from last year that were sophomores. They were all juniors this year. And so they're off and running, Bodine. They are taking full advantage, and they are out the door. I wouldn't be surprised to see about all 23 or 24 drafted by Georgia in this upcoming draft.
Oh, the money is too great, and they're starting to talk about guaranteed contracts for certain positions. Or at least guaranteed time for certain positions. So we'll see.
You go get that money.
You go get it.
All right. So let's talk about some of the games. Well, first of all, tell us the numbers. Let's jump into that.
Well, listen. let's just say we all had a good year. We had different spots and different times. Like, you missed a couple of games. G didn't come in until you started. You had some missed games. So Chris and I were consistent every week. So we obviously had the best scores of all the games, all the weeks, right? So let's just say we all won. That's the fair thing to say. But if we go with week 18, I should at least give that score. Week 18, you had 11 picked games, Joe.
All right, great.
I had 14, Chris had 11, and G had 14.
All right, that's amazing.
So we all were in double digits. So we all, in looking at from week 11 all the way to week 18, our score, our picks improved every, from say the first, right? The season was in quarters, so you can say the season were in halves. The first half of the season, we were just kind of getting to know the players, the teams, our picks. But right at game 9 and 10, we started averaging double-digit wins. So we got better in our picks, if that makes sense.
It does.
And you did. You were right along with us, Joe. You had, matter of fact, one week you had 13 wins. You won that week. You had 13 wins. I think that was week 13. Matter of fact, week 13, you had 13 picks, and you won that week.
All right, amazing. All right, so I'm glad everybody came a winner. Of course, I think I did better than any of you because I've only been watching football for 2 years. So I got to give myself some props there. I will say that I did not do well in fantasy football this year because I did not have George in my draft to really help me through last year when I did pretty well. So next year, George, we're back on. We're back in the.
It didn't bode so well, huh?
It didn't. I stopped keeping track after a while. I don't even know how I did.
Well, in one of my leagues,
and last
I
year,
did 1 in 3, and I won 9 straight in a row with just whoever was left out there, and it was amazing that I did that.
All right, perfect. I'm glad you did well. So let's, why wait? Let's talk about the Bills game. It was phenomenal right from the kickoff. I think that, you couldn't have had a better game. It wasn't a blowout. So, I was getting nervous at some point. But I think I don't know if you guys saw the interview with Josh Allen after the game where they said that there had not been, Damar Hamlin's number 3. They said there had not been a kickoff return in exactly 3 years and 3 months. So
wow.
And Josh Allen got teary-eyed saying that because, of course,
they had 2.
Yeah. And they had 2, but that one, they had 2, but that one was
the first one,
was number 3.
Yeah,
right? They were all
first,
the whole
yeah.
game.
Yeah, but the first one takes the cake. I mean, you just don't see opening kickoffs anymore in this league since they changed the rules. You don't see opening kickoffs, right?
Not since Devin Hester left.
Oh, yeah. You just don't see it.
Oh, Joshua Cribbs did turn around and continue that a little bit, Chris.
That's true.
Now, come on, now.
I forgot about that.
Everybody forgets about the Browns, Yeah. That's all right. Cleveland versus the world. We're used to it.
So I think
we're used to that. Thanks a lot.
So it was an impressive game all the way around. I think that, in some ways, I'm glad it wasn't a blowout, right? It wasn't a blowout. It made it interesting. And I don't know, you guys, I know, Bodine, you're not much onto social media that much, a little bit. You're a Facebook person, but Damar was tweeting and on Instagram, mostly tweeting. I was keeping up on it, and really his tweets were, so supportive of his team the whole time. He was speaking about how, and I don't know if you saw any of it. Well, and they were putting his tweets up too on the screen, talking about how God had a bigger place for him in this game, and it really was to spread love. And we talk every week about all the negativity, and here was a great week. It was an example of how the whole world, at least the whole country, I don't want to say the whole world, but the whole country came behind this one man and the donations. But it was more than that. It was really just about, there was no racial divide. I'm sure it existed, but we didn't see it. And it just was really a heartwarming week when I think we needed it.
He was
Nope.
watching from his hospital room, like a private room, and I think they said all of the machines went off because he got a little excited. But
Yeah, and the whole entire storyline, the whole entire narrative, it just fell into place. And when you have also good announcers like Jim Nantz, who's a seasoned vet, he knew how to call the game. Tony Romo as corny as Tony, and I love Tony Romo, right? He's you talk about a guy that pulled himself out of nowhere to create a story for himself, right? He didn't go to a big time school. He was a D1, a Division I AA school like Villanova and Delaware and Youngstown and the Dakotas, North and South Dakota, right? He knows how to play off of Jim Nantz. So they do a good job. And so it was really a great call, a great start to a positive week in terms of the ending, because it could have ended the other way. I mean, really, it could have ended the other way. So, yeah, we don't get these kinds of stories often. So we should relish in them. We should enjoy them. We should appreciate them, because it shows our humanity as Americans. People try to divide us. Listen, I've been saying it from day one. Sports is the great vehicle, right? The power of sports is a perfect life lessons, right? That show and demonstrate how we can work together, play together, and build great relationships. So, like I say, I've seen it for almost 40 years. Since my first day I walked on campus, I've been paying attention. That's why I wrote my book. So, it's all good.
It's all good. And then on the flip side, right, the Bengals had a great game too. And I loved how they showed, the players kneeling before the game, praying, and just the camaraderie. I think that anytime tragedy happens in any family, well, I don't want to say anytime, but most times it brings people together. And especially when it's scary, right? That must have been a frightening scene for them. It makes people think about their own mortality and really how short life is. So it just
how many people have ever seen mouth-to-mouth resuscitation live and in person?
Yeah,
right?
Not many. And thankfully not many. And the defibrillator, they brought up the defibrillator, which is a really scary thing. I mean, to see that. Hi, how are you?
Kelly.
Hi,
Kelly.
Hi.
Hi.
Kelly.
Hi, Kelly. Welcome to the show.
Just thought I'd come and say hi. I wanted to see who Bodine was. your girlfriend.
Thanks, Kelly.
Well,
Thanks, Kelly.
I'll tell you, I used to be Bodine's girlfriend, and George has replaced me. So that's a sad commentary for both of us, Kelly.
Great. Look at Crispy Bacon over there laughing. Oh my God.
That's what it takes to finally get Kelly in front of the camera.
Yeah. Oh my God, that's so funny.
It's sad that there's a woman on. She's not jealous of me. She's jealous of you.
That's funny. That is hilarious.
That's my wife.
Oh my goodness.
George, we were just talking about the Bengals too, is that they had a great win as well on the flip side of things. So I was happy to see both of those teams win. I don't know, you know.
Did you see the highlights of the Bengals game?
I did.
Joe Burrow is no joke.
Yeah, I liked him last year. I think I'm a Joe Burrow fan for sure.
I think they've got their mojo back. So it's going to be between those three. Who could sneak? I don't think Baltimore is going to do anything. I don't think Miami's going to do anything.
Out again.
Yeah, and Tua's out. Right.
Yep.
So who's the other team?
The Vikings have a chance.
No, I'm talking about in that conference. Who's the other team?
Jacksonville, maybe.
Jacksonville's about to beat the Chargers.
Listen. I think my Jaguars at that home, having a home game, can be the surprise team. But I honestly don't think, unless they get lucky, they're going to travel to KC, travel to to Cincinnati, or travel to Buffalo and beat them. So I think they can beat the Chargers. But those three teams at the top, oh my God, I can't wait to see them compete against each other, because it's going to be incredible.
Well, if it's the Bengals and Chiefs, it'd be in a neutral site.
If it's the Chiefs and the Bengals?
Yeah.
Okay.
I remember that right.
Now, okay, let's talk about that. What do you guys think that neutral site's going to be?
Pittsburgh.
I think it'll be someplace warm. I think that they're going to make it warm.
They're going to make it a warm. Yep, they're going to make it a warm spot. They're going to put it somewhere down south.
Agreed.
It have to be. You know what? It'd have to be New Orleans. It would have to be New Orleans.
It could be at AT&T too.
Well, it would have to be an AFC spot. So the AFC spots.
In Houston.
It would probably.
Well, then it'd be in Houston. Then Houston. That's warm. You can't get any warmer than Houston.
And it's a dome field too.
Yeah, it's indoors. Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be a great neutral spot. Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely think it's going to be someplace warm.
But I've heard the NFL wants to do it outdoors, and they're thinking of Pittsburgh because that's where Hamlin was from.
There you go.
That's why I'm thinking Pittsburgh.
Maybe, but
anything's anything's possible. We don't know what the league's going to do.
Yeah, but the problem with that is it technically wouldn't really be neutral, because you'd have all those Cincinnati fans traveling only 4 hours to get right on over there.
Yeah.
It'd be a lot harder for Kansas City to get over there.
Yeah, that is correct.
You need a true neutral spot.
I think Houston's the one, but
yeah,
We'll
we'll see.
see.
So let's go to the NFC.
Okay.
The NFC is. I'm glad the Eagles pulled it out because they get the home. Can you imagine any team coming to Philadelphia if it's going to be cold with our crowd trying to beat us?
Yes, the 49ers will do it with no problem.
Oh, stop it. Stop it.
Look, seriously, let's look at the rest of that list. None of these teams are even sneezing to beat the Eagles or the Niners. None of them.
No, I agree with you in terms of the team that has the best shot of making it to Philadelphia is the 49ers, but I don't think they're going to beat the Eagles in Philadelphia.
You almost lost to the Colts.
Oh, come on. Would you stop it? Would you stop it?
Come on,
Just stop it. Playoff football is different, and that quarterback, as much as I appreciate that, Mr. Irrelevant, he is carving his career, making a career for himself that I have never seen. And you said it before. It's Tom Brady over again. It's what's his name who played for the Rams, Kurt Warner. It's all those incredible stories all over again. I totally agree. But that kid ain't coming to Philadelphia and beating the Eagles in Philadelphia. It ain't going to happen.
I'm sorry. When Jalen Hurts sees the field, I might agree with you. But if Hurts doesn't see the field and it's Gardner Minshew against the 49ers,
I will agree with you.
Okay. All right.
I agree with you.
Okay. I was gonna say if it's not mano a mano and it's Gardner Minshew, I think there might be a problem.
We'll have some problems, but at that point, our defense has got to win it because we can't put the ball in Minshew's hands. As much as I like him, remember he played for Jacksonville. I like the kid. I love his personality. They actually love the kid here, but you can't put the ball in his hands in a playoff game. You got to put it in somebody else's hands.
Agreed. And it's just not fair when, and especially like Miami. Miami's not going to get there because no Tua. It's like you need to, no Lamar, no Tua, no Jalen. I mean, you need to have your guys who got you there. That's what we played for. And to not have your star guys leading your teams, it's heartbreaking, and especially when the teams go down. It's,
because you know what's going to happen in the playoffs. It's about blitz city. You blitz every down. You force those quarterbacks to make bad decisions.
Yep. 100%.
Unfortunately, the Cowboys saw a lot of that.
I was going to say, I wouldn't be bringing them up after that.
Yeah, I had a feeling the Commanders were going to pull it out. That was a good game.
Yep, so did I. I was like, ooh, but I wasn't expecting 26-6. Ouch.
Me either. I thought it was going to be much closer than that.
And you know what, Crispy Bacon? We did. We lost that. They picked Washington. They surely did. They picked Washington. Oh my God! I was so. If the Dallas Cowboys would have won that game, I would have won 15 out of the 16 picks.
Wow.
Oh, so close.
Let me down.
That's what you get from with Cowboys.
And then
nope. That's why they're my childhood team. I'm an Eagles fan now.
Well, then the other game that I loved, can you guess which one it was?
I had to be Pittsburgh.
No.
Jacksonville.
Oh, Buffalo.
Well, no, we talked about that game. What about the Packers-Lions?
Yes. We were all on Detroit. Yes, we were. And they were losing. And them boys came back and sent Green Bay packing. They were home fishing. Even in the cold Green Bay, they're fishing on that cold lake.
And then, then there was all this talk that Aaron Rodgers wouldn't trade his jersey, that it made retirement. But, did you see any of that?
I kind of heard about it, but I didn't pay attention because he's such a drama queen.
Yeah. And I caught that press conference and how he was talking, and it was like, hey, he said it's not the way you want to play your last game, and meaning on how the end of a career. And I was just like, oh, so you're retiring this time, maybe? Okay.
I don't think he is. But it's funny, and his personal life definitely has an impact on him. He has a new girlfriend, which always seems to, influence him. They'll be broken up by training camp, so things will be
by the draft, by April.
So we'll see. I don't think he's going to retire like that. I mean, I think he's probably thinking he's going to settle down, but for whatever reason, he can't maintain a relationship.
That dude ain't retiring. He throws too good of a football to retire.
Well,
right?
He's got $54 million coming this year.
Yeah, he ain't going nowhere. He's just a drama. He's just a drama queen, right? That's all he is. Everybody knows it. So accept him for who he is.
Well, that's why I don't care for him. I think he's, I think that Tom Brady proved this year as well that these players are human. Their personal lives do impact their professional lives just as they do any of the rest of us. But it's just different for me. Aaron Rodgers is exactly that. He has to be embroiled in some kind of controversy or drama or for him to be happy. And I think that he feeds off of those things. And it also, it also aligns with his arrogance. I think it's just all the COVID thing last year, this year, whatever it was, he's just always full of, something's going on with him. So that's why I don't care for him.
Oh yeah, we can put him in that. That was that wide receiver that used to play for Pittsburgh that went to Tampa Bay. Antonio Brown,
Yeah.
drama queen.
Maybe.
I mean, we can put all kinds of guys in that category. It doesn't tend to end well for them because they're too selfish.
And they become unlikable. That's over time. And then you leave the NFL and, you need, unfortunately, many of these players, they want to go in and be commentators and journalists or actors. And if you don't have a following, you don't become famous. You become notorious, and people don't like you. You end up being on a reality show 5 years from now, and you're on an island trying to find your future mate. It doesn't end well.
Well, what did Alfred and Batman say? You live long enough to become a villain. You start out a hero, but you live long enough to become a villain.
Yeah.
That's what Aaron Rodgers is doing to his career.
But I felt like he started out as a villain because I don't think a lot of people, I don't know, didn't like him or something.
No. He took over for Brett Favre.
Right.
And he was not the troublemaker he is now. He started out really good. People liked him. He was a new kid, fresh kid on the block. And so he was viewed upon and looked upon differently when he first started out. But right now, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Drama.
Agreed.
But he's still a bad man, as Stephen A. Smith would say. That dude can throw the rock. He can throw that ball different. I mean, him and Pat Mahomes throw the ball differently than anybody in the league. Period. They can put that ball. They can drop a dime in any situation. Sidearm, over, quickly. I mean, he can throw the ball, but it's just the difference between him and Pat Mahomes. People love Pat because he's not a problem.
Right. And he's likable, right?
He is.
He does things for his community. He's likes his fans. He's vulnerable and honest, and he stood by his girlfriend, who's now his wife, when other people were villainizing her simply because she was his girlfriend. And
he doesn't drink weird tea to make you hallucinate.
All right. So are there any other games you want to talk about before we delve into this week's?
Well, I want to give a shout out to Pittsburgh. They start out this year with Ben Roethlisberger retiring. Did you see what George did? He gave me the hand. Listen, I grew up a Cowboys fan. Pittsburgh has made me cry many a times as a little itty bitty chocolate morsel. But you got to give credit where credit is due. They pulled that season together and they got a winning season. I believe the head coach has not had a losing season.
Never.
If any, he's only had one.
Never.
Right?
No,
Zero.
never. But he's had 3 8-8s.
He's a Hall of Fame coach with a Super Bowl. He's going to the Hall.
Yep, we know.
No question about it. That brother's going to the Hall. So it's going to be 3 black head coaches, if I'm not mistaken. Art Shell.
I was going to say Art Shell. Yep.
Tony Dungy.
And Tomlin.
Going to the Hall. There you go. It's not bad.
Maybe, Chris, we ought to move on here. I see some friction in the bromance. We better.
Chris, you want to cue up
Yeah.
that vid I sent about the Detroit
Yeah,
game?
get it up real quick. Let's see.
I see you eat mine.
right, so what are we talking about?
You got it?
Yeah, let me make it bigger and there we go.
There we go.
Yeah.
The push.
Let me run it real quick. There we go.
Did you see this, Joe?
Oh, I did. Oh,
Okay.
You pushed it.
yeah, I did.
Yeah. Pushing the medical trainer, which is his job to turn around and try to get him to address him. And they right now the NFL doesn't believe there will be a suspension, but there will be a fine.
Oh, he's got to get fined. No question.
Yeah.
Also, Devontae, number 95, who also then comes up and kind of gives him the bump, like,
Yep.
what are you going to do about it? He, too, will also be fined for interfering with the medical staff personnel.
Well,
As-
I'm pleased to see that for sure.
As Charles Barkley would say, knuckleheads.
No, it's worse than that, especially.
Oh, no, it's worse than that. Yeah, no question.
But I wish your video went on to show him walking back into the tunnel. Did you see that video?
Yeah, crying as if he didn't do anything wrong. No, dude, you did it to yourself.
Oh, he even admitted, he said in the interview that he turned around and he knew he screwed up again. And that's why he was, sitting there crying about it in the tunnel, because he knew he screwed up again.
Oh, yeah.
And it's not his first time. It's uncalled for. Totally uncalled for.
I mean, what is he thinking? Well, who did he think the guy was? A guy coming from the stands?
And it definitely wasn't a player, because he's not in a white uniform.
He didn't have a helmet on.
Regardless of who it is, what was the point? Regardless. It's really, it was really disheartening. That.
And the referee whipped a flag out right away, too. I was like, wait a second. Okay. And he's like, yep, it's like after the play's over. It's a misconduct penalty on the player.
And that's automatic toss out of the game, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep, he said, he turned around, came back, and he goes, that's a disqualification, and he's out.
Mm-hmm.
And especially in a big game like that, it's like, wow, one of your big defensive players is now ejected from the game. And it's just like, wow, common sense, people, common sense.
Common sense. Boneheaded.
Well, what about the other controversy of the week when the Steelers, they had a player down and then they came over and, mimicked CPR. Did you see that?
I heard about that.
How distasteful. And, they had you didn't see it, Bodine?
Pittsburgh Steelers?
Yeah.
So they had Alex Highsmith went viral for the wrong reason. One of his teammates was down and he went over and mimicked doing CPR on him. And of course, it was just, they said that they've done it before and it just was a horrible timing, bad, distasteful, of course, after what we saw last week.
I've seen it done when a player catches a touchdown or somebody scores and they do that. But you have to read the room. You have to know what time it is. You have to understand the circumstances and the context. You can't do that after a dude passes out on the field a week earlier. Common sense.
And it really was a bad look, and he had to come out and luckily he had tweeted or posted his condolences and care for Damar Hamlin earlier in the week. So, it was easy to see that it probably was a harmless gesture in the heat of the moment. I have to believe and hope that that's true. I don't think anybody would willingly, but he had to come out and justify it and defend himself and reassure people that he wasn't making light of the situation or trying to mimic what had happened the week earlier. But it's still, some people aren't going to see that interview or that post, and he's going to carry that stigma with him for a little bit at least.
When people show you who they are, believe them. So
Well, we got
gotta
about,
you gotta face the music.
we got about 8 minutes to go.
Okay, let's pick. Let's make our picks.
Okay. Let's look at the games.
Whether
Well, we have fewer games to pick, right? So
Yep. Yep.
uh,
think 6.
Who's the first game? Call it. Who's the first game?
I gotta pull it up. Hold on a second. All right,
I
the
got
first. Okay.
I got it Saturday. First game at 4:30 is the Seahawks at the 49ers.
Ooh, 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 ooh.
I got
I'm going.
49ers.
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 Yeah, I'm going 49ers.
Jordan.
I was going
I'm
to say,
going 40. We're all on the 49ers. Okay.
spread is 10. That's a healthy spread. Next up, 8:15, Chargers at the Jags.
Yeah, baby.
I'll
Jaguars.
take the Jags.
I'm going with the Jags.
Need I say? Should I say anything?
No, we figured you for the Jags too.
We might be in agreement for all 6 games this week.
We
Maybe
might.
not. We might.
Let's-
We might not.
What's next?
Sunday, 1
Two
o'clock.
of us.
Dolphins at the Bills.
What time? Hold
1
on.
o'clock.
1.
I figured Josh
I'll
Allen-
be coaching the Sailors basketball game at 1 o'clock versus Sandusky. Or it's our homecoming game
Miami. Where's Miami at?
at
Buffalo.
Buffalo.
Okay. Picks. Who you
got?
got?
Bills.
We're all on Buffalo, pretty much.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Next game.
We could probably skip it. It's 4:30. It's the Giants at the Vikings.
Going with the Vikings. My husband's actually going out to the game, so
Really?
I'm going with the Vikings.
Minnesota.
I'm taking the Giants.
All right.
Kirk Cousin, Big
not for
Ten
real.
choke job.
Listen,
Laid it out.
I am not falling. I am not falling into this Kirk Cousins trap again. I'm going with the G-men. Crispy Bacon. Who you got, Crispy Bacon?
Minnesota.
Oh, don't do it. Don't do
I'm
it.
going,
Don't do it. All right. So what do we got Sunday? I mean, what Sunday night?
Sunday night, Ravens at the Bengals.
Cincinnati.
Going with the
I'm
Bengals.
taking Bengals.
Yep. We're all on Cincinnati.
Oh, heck, that game of the weekend.
And then a rare
Rare. Very rare.
Monday night playoff game.
Can't believe it.
They did this last year.
The
They
Cow-
did?
I think so.
I
Since
didn't
they've
remember
started
it.
they did.
Since
They started the 17
Well, that was.
format.
I thought it was this week.
No,
Yeah, that's right. It was last year.
that was last year.
Cowboys are at the Buccaneers.
I'm going with the Bucks.
Well, we knew that was coming.
Yeah.
I'm going Tampa.
What, Chris?
Yeah.
What was that? Wait a minute,
I'm going
Chris.
Tampa.
Wait a minute. What?
Wow.
Well, Chris, I'm sorry to tell you, but the Cowboys send Tom Brady packing, and he and Aaron Rodgers can go golfing on Monday.
Yeah, I'm picking the Cowboys. Tampa, yeah, they just don't have enough. I'm picking Dallas. I'm picking Dallas. Monday night? Yeah, I'm picking Dallas.
The only thing.
I picked
Alright.
Tampa
Yep.
Bay that first game this past year.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Well, good luck, everybody.
Good
Yeah.
luck. I forgot. We did forget to mention that, DeMar Hamlin was transported back to Buffalo. I don't know. Everybody knew that, but he actually got released today. And
Yep.
released to recuperate, rehab at home and with the Bills. So it sounds like he'll be back on the field, which is really heartwarming and really, everybody's I'd like to think everybody's prayers worked and well wishes, and his recovery was manifested, because on that initial day, I mean, I did not think he was going to make it. I was one of the people who thought it was going to be a horrific ending, but it turned out to be a storybook ending. So,
And he'll also get his paycheck too.
Oh yeah, they have to pay him. The organization came out and said they pay him. But in terms of the medical part, it goes to show you the power of being at home or being around something familiar. It has healing properties, because just the ability to go through what he went through.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. But he's got a tough decision to make.
He does.
It's right. He's got a tough decision to make. Is he going to continue to play? Will he sit out 1 year and then give it another shot? I don't know.
Well, there's a lot of rehabbing he's going to have to do here first.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
No question. But if he decides not to play, he's got a great opportunity, because he's got $8 million sitting in that nonprofit to give out Christmas toys. He's got a speaking engagement career if he wants it. He's got it made if he wants to retire, because it's a great story. And a movie's coming. If not a streaming movie, a documentary. He's got, the door is open for all kinds of opportunities.
Even just the interview circuit. But keep in mind, it's very, we're talking about these veterans, how difficult it is for them to retire. Can you imagine being faced with that decision at 24? When you
yeah, I was. I had to retire at the age of 24. I know what it feels like, because I didn't get drafted, so I was forced to retire. I know what it feels like. Yeah, I know. It's not easy.
Right, but here some of the decision making was taken out of your hands. This young man has got to, he has a choice to make, which
I got you.
Maybe medical, the medical team may weigh in on that decision as well, obviously. So I don't think anybody's going to let him play if he's not physically able to.
Oh, I'm sure mommy and daddy are going to be like, look, especially mommy. Mommy's going to be like, you're done. Dad's going to understand, right? Dad's going to have to navigate it, right?
Well, the NFLPA and the NFL are also looking at it as an insurance liability, though, too.
Yes, absolutely.
Well, have you seen any of his interviews from beforehand? And he clearly said that he consults his parents on any decision. So obviously his parents are going to have a significant influence on what he decides to do.
Absolutely.
All right, so another great show, and good luck this week in the playoffs, guys. We didn't agree on everything, so we're going to come back and see who's the front runner going into the playoffs. Like just like the playoffs, we're on a clean slate. I mean, just like the real playoffs, we're on a clean slate, starting fresh. So it'll be interesting to see where we land. Chris and I think, are in agreement, and I think you and George are pretty much in agreement. So
pretty much. The games that's going to decide who wins and who loses is G-Men versus Vikings and Dallas versus Bucks. We're all in agreement on the other games.
All right, so it's the bromance against us, Chris.
Oh, jeez.
So thanks, everybody. Thanks for a great week. Thanks for tuning in, and we will see you all next week. Have a happy playoff weekend, first round of the playoffs, and we'll see everybody next week. And please tune in to the Oregon Cougars, who are coming up next in a live streaming event. We hope you join us for that as well. All right, play us out, Chris.